Hey guys, how you doing? Chad Tracy back here with another video. I had 18 and a half years in Department of Corrections, excuse me guys, before I was terminated. Two officers lied on me and said I called them a pussy and a faggot, and said I threatened them approximately 45 days apart. And here we are. I've been fighting for my job for approximately going on 7 years now, guys. 7 years. So we went through numerous things, and here we are. We're getting into Major Pompous Ass. So let me reflect a little bit. Went into Administrator Staking the Grass office. Gave him a special. You know, he refused to let me go out of the institution, go out to an outside detail where I felt I was safe. And the major gave him the special. When I went to go check in, back in with the administrator, he denied ever receiving it. When I asked the major said, absolutely, Chad. He swore to God that he gave it to him, and there's no doubt in my mind that he gave it to him. Like, I firmly believe that. He's not one to play games in reference to that. He knew everything that I was going through. But you know what? Who knows? Maybe he didn't. But I doubt it. I feel like he definitely gave it to him. So, getting back to the major, and let me explain something to you. So there was a notice put out that anybody coming on grounds, they were supposed to announce it via radio. Any majors that the roundsman or the guy in the tower had seen, they're supposed to announce it over the radio. And the reason being is because the one major's wife was always in his office, so he wanted to get pretty much, a heads up that for her to go back to where she had to go. I witnessed it numerous times. And it is what it is. So yeah, I did confront the major. And I did ask him, I was like, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. So you got a second? And he says, yeah. I said, can you step over here for me? Because, we're out of camera view. That's number one. Number two, obviously it's his word against mine, which he would have won anyways because he's a major. You know how that goes. And I asked him, I said, how you doing, Major? Pompous ass. Because he would always, look down on people because he would have his glasses on. And he would, look down and, like he was a shit. Always have his chin up. And, look down on people, you know what I mean? It's just weird. Weird cat. I remember when we all used to hang out. There's numerous of us officers. For some odd reason, we went to, was hanging out, and we went to Jay's Elbow Room. And this was many, many years ago. I didn't really particularly care for him, even back then. He was one of those guys that never was proven, always talked a lot, and, whatever. But we went to the bars, and we're hanging out and drinking, whatever, and they would hit each other, punch each other. I don't do that stuff. That's little kid stuff. You know what I mean? You hit each other, that's fun. Nah, that's not cool. So he hit me the first time, punched me. I'm like, hey, knock it off, Major. And I was calling him by his name then, but So he hit me the second time. I said, listen, you hit me again. I said, I'm gonna punch you. Enough's enough. We're grown men. We're in a bar. Who hits each other? What's that about? I don't do that stuff. So I walked away from, went on the other side of a couple other officers. And throughout the night, he came back over to me, and he just hit me again. Boom. So I just turned and punched him dead right in his chest. He went right down to the ground. Why you gonna punch me? Why you gonna punch me? I'm like, I told you, stop punching me, dude. This little kid shit. One can only take so much, right? And I think that's what DOC was trying to make me do. They were trying to make me lose it and punch the second guy. But of course, I kept my cool. You know what I mean? And that's what they were anticipating, that I was going to, lose my temper and just, you know, beat someone up, I guess. But come on, like in that arena, if you will, because that's exactly what it is. You know, you always got to keep your cool in there. You can't, you lose your job, like your livelihood and everything you work for. I kept my cool during that time. But so, anyways, we'll get into that. So I said, "Hey, Major, how you doing?" Blah blah blah. I said, "Yeah, I heard you were talking about me. You're spreading rumors." He said, "No, I didn't. I didn't spread no rumors about it." I said, "Oh, you didn't?" And he's like, "No, I had nothing. No, I never said that. I never said anything about it." So you haven't? I said, "Well, what about the guys over in that seg?" And he's like, "What?" I said, the guys over in that seg said that you're the one that said that I was the one that called uptown and pretty much ratted them out when they pretty much had permission from the old administrator to do that. I said, and I was down there eating with them all the time. So why would I do that? That doesn't even make sense. He's like, "I never said that." I said, "You never said it?" I said, "I found that from a sergeant and other officers." And he's, "Well, who was the sergeant?" I said, "I gave him his name." I said, "This is a sergeant that told me." "And what's your point?" "I never said that, blah, blah, blah." I said, "No, you did, because you're trying to protect your one lieutenant that worked down on overtime, that he was scared to death, that they were outside cooking, and he went uptown, and he told everybody uptown, and then you're trying to use me as a scapegoat." "No, I had nothing to do with that, Chad. I swear to God." I said, "You know what? People change when they make rank, unfortunately." I said, "What's up with you, bro? Like, you wrote up a couple officers that you used to play cards with, and you think you're all big and bad because you're a major now. Like," I said, that uniform doesn't make you who you are as a man. You may be a major, but people don't respect you because you don't have your word. When you don't have your word, you don't have anything. I said, and then you're gonna lie right to my face. And I said, you should honestly be worried, because I already knew at the time, right, guys? I already knew that his wife was dating somebody else, right? And I walked away like this. I said, "My man, you should actually be worried about what your wife's doing instead of what I'm doing, and spreading rumors about me." He said, "What's that supposed to mean?" I said, "You tell me." "Well, I got nothing else to say." I said, "Yeah, you better not have anything else to say. Keep my name out of your mouth." Like, are you serious? You're gonna try to get me in trouble with my friends that I work with every day, and mess with my livelihood, or potentially get me beat up or something like that, because you're telling lies about me? And the guys in that say they weren't like that anyways, but I'm just saying, like, I just use that as an example. Like, that's the stuff that could happen. Like, are you kidding me? So he walked away, I walked away, and we went about our ways. And I never heard anything about it, forever, like for the rest of the time. But I put that little inclination in his head. And I don't even know what happened after that, because, it is what it is, But since you want to try to hurt me and get me, turned against my friends, that's why I put his business out there. Like, I don't care. You're going to try to hurt me and hurt my family and my income, and potentially probably almost, get me beat up or something like that, which they weren't like that. But still, as an example, like, are you serious? You're going to try to, like, use me as an scapegoat because your lieutenant, like, is a coward? Like, are you serious? Or not a coward, but he was a decent dude, but, like, are you serious? That's crazy. So that's about it on that day. And that was December 12th. Right, guys? December 12th. That's when everything happened on that. It was December 12th. Yeah, so I gave that special to the major at 3:20 p.m. And on camera, I handed the major, pretty boy, December 18th, Tuesday. I was interviewed by SID relating to the turtle nuts incident, the first turtle nuts incident. So it happened pretty fast. What was the date? I allegedly did it. So yeah, I allegedly threatened turtle nuts. I believe it was October 16th, right? No. '16th. All right, so we jumped ahead way far, guys. No, that's about right. Because we went through October, we went through November. So yeah, we're on yeah, on October 18th, or I'm sorry, December 18th. I was interviewed by the lead investigator in my case, and she was the one that was she was accused of perjury, found guilty of it, and I believe she was terminated, and I think she got her job back and retired as an officer, something like that. But yeah, she ended up retiring, and she lied under oath, guys. So, you know, how's that happen? That's nuts, right? So you got a SID lady, right? That was lead investigator for Department of Corrections at Albert C. Wagner. And she perjurized, and I don't know exactly when. I think it was after she left Wagner. She lied under oath, and she got caught. And she was able to return or what have you, and she got her job back, whatever it was, and she retired as an officer. And she lied under oath, guys. Crazy. I just don't get it. So during the interview, while on camera, which they probably erased, I told her I was stressed out and I needed to talk to someone. And I was never, ever, ever, ever provided with any kind of assistance or somebody to talk to or anything like that. And that's sad, right, guys? That I was literally stressed out. You know, I broke down, I started crying during the interview. And yeah, said I needed to talk to someone. And you know, what they look for is they try to get you to say that, you know, you're gonna hurt yourself or you're gonna kill someone, so they can automatically take your gun from you. Which I would never have done that. But that's the only way that I would have got help, if I said that in the Department of Corrections. At least in my case. Because I've said it. I said I needed to talk to someone. I broke down to the two majors, right? Then I broke down with EED, the female there. Then I broke down during the investigation with Zoe crying. I told her I needed to talk to someone. And nothing. Wasn't provided with anything, guys. Nothing at all. So at 3 different times, I broke down crying and nothing. Nothing. And I don't condone this. I don't wish this on anyone. But you got officers that do this and cry and break down and everything else, right? And the Department of Corrections wonders why officers kill themselves, or they resort to drugs, or they resort to alcohol, or they resort to pills. It's crazy. All the signs were there, and everybody's seen it. Everybody's seen it. Administration's seen it, right? Then you had the two majors that seen it. Then you had EED. They've seen it. I broke down twice during the EED. Once with the Clucho girl and also with a black female. When I came back from my first heart attack, I broke down in there also. Told them I needed to speak to someone. I needed help. I didn't receive anything, guys. And I'm still here. You know, I didn't want to hurt myself, obviously. But I needed to talk to someone because I needed to tell somebody what was going on. And that's why I'm doing this on YouTube. Because this is my therapy, guys. This helps me. And, you know, and I hope that this helps other people that may be going through the same stuff that the department has blackballed. And they never got to tell their story. I have people now reaching out to me that are retired, but they can't speak because they have loved ones right now in the Department of Corrections, and they're worried about retaliation. And they won't. They can't come on. But if I have an interview with someone or Q&A with someone, and they're masked up with glasses and big coat and everything else, and gloves on, and with a voice monitoring device, not monitoring, but you know, so you can change their voice. That's the reason why, guys. It's horrible that you have officers that kill themselves, and there's signs, and they don't do anything about it. There were signs with other officers that killed themselves at Wagner, and they didn't do anything about that either. It's sad. And I hope people uptown, and I hope SID uptown, I hope you guys are watching, because when I say this, I'm telling you the truth. Everything I've said on all my videos has been all the truth. There's no lying going on, guys. It's just crazy how, you know, things happen and they allow it to go to the wayside, and you know, they hope that it doesn't come up. And this is another time that I was harassed by a lieutenant, Lieutenant Snail. He was in operations. Remember, guys, this is the same guy that jumped on me in F1 control. This is the same guy that him and Turtle Nuts never got my bid for him, and they didn't get my bid for him. That would have got me out of the main, and the administrator denied me going out and render me that bid so I could get out, because he had plans, guys. It was a big plot. It was a huge plot, and I have someone that's going to come and say what the big plot is and how it went down and why it went down. So continue to watch, guys, because I'm going to say it. And you could say, you guys can say, oh, I'm snitching this, I'm snitching that. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. You guys don't live in my house. You don't know what I've went through personally. I've lost everything. My family, my kids. You guys go through that. 2 heart attacks. You go through that. And see what happens to you. See if you're able to survive. So you got these, you have this one lieutenant that continues to harass me. Snail. I mean, I walk into the barbershop. You know, that's an officer barbershop. We pay monthly, or actually yearly. I don't know if it's $100. You get weekly haircuts. Officers, took care of it at Wagner. Actually opened an account. One of the officers had access. It was all open to everybody that wanted to see, where all the monies were going, because people that had it before were using it for personal things. So there was a real honest person that we got involved and asked him to do it, because he was everybody, whether you're white, black, Spanish, Asian, everybody respected this guy. And he had no reason to take any money, which is only about $1,000 or $2,000, when he's dealing with 20 rentals, right? Like, why would he take that? He wouldn't. So that's why we kind of all elected to push it towards him, because there was no worries. Although he documented everything with receipts and everything else, and there was a book and everything. So there was never ever any question. And it went well. And it was taken care of. We always had supplies. So during that time, with also barbershop, I went walking in there, and Lieutenant Snail was sitting in the barbershop. He was getting his hair cut. And he said all this in front of an inmate. I walked in the barbershop. Snail was sitting there, getting a haircut. And I seen him. I was like, oh, God. Like, I see him. I just, kind of kept it moving. I watched TV or whatever for a second and just turned right back around. And he goes, hello, Officer Tracy, and like a condescending kind of voice. And kind of like, I don't know, it was like belittling a little bit. And during that time, he like looked me up and down, because when I turned around, I turned back and I see him looking me up and down. I was like, here we go. I asked the inmates to leave, right? Because I knew where I was going with all this. And he told the inmates, no, stay in here, guys. I'm ordering you to stay in here. So the inmates stayed, obviously, because he's a higher rank. And I just didn't want the inmates to hear what was going to be said, right? Because just, some things shouldn't be said in front of, inmates. Although they were good inmates, I guess you can say. They didn't have any like major felonies. Like, they were only in there for like a petty crime. Like, they didn't hurt any officers on the street or hurt any anybody on the street. And you're gonna say hi. I said, sir, no, there's nothing to really talk about. Remember, he did all this stuff to me, right? He was part of the guys that changed my hours. Didn't get the job bid form. He was talking about the one major, like putting her down when she first got there, and he's just like I don't know. It was just left a bad taste in your mouth. You know what I mean, guys? It's just incredible. And he says, I said, listen, I don't want to speak to you unless it's job related. He's, no, that's not how it works, Officer Tracy. When I speak, you acknowledge me. And I laughed, right? I laughed right in his face. I said, okay. You know what I mean? So I said, listen, if that's the way you're going to do it, I said, I'm letting you know that you're harassing me. And if this continues, I'm going to, I'm going to write a special. I'm going to put a grievance in. I'm going to do what I have to do. And I wasn't going to do it. It was just for him to knock his shit off, because we were, you know what I mean? Like, we weren't jiving. So he was trying to, he was harassing me. He was trying to push me to the point, because he was one of, not probably, he was one of the good old boys club. Well, he tried to be. He tried to fit in, but he never really fit in with anyone. And so I went, then I went to the one sergeant that was the area supervisor. I went to Lieutenant Humpty Dumpty. And then, I went to, then I finally went to the major. I explained to him that I had past incidents with this lieutenant, and he's harassing me. And he hasn't stopped, and he's continued to do it. And I finally reported it. Wrote everything up. Gave him specials for all 4 or 5 different incidents. And I turned everything in. And, goes right to the wayside. And nothing was done about it. And that was because that was the one major. Him and I didn't get along. That's how it went. And here we go, guys. This is December 29th. Right? So let me just reiterate, and we're going to get into the next officer and how when everything went down. Let me reiterate. So with the first officer, the IVP, I talked to the president of the union at the time, not the one that's in office now, the one before him. I called him up on a Friday, explained everything to the president of our union. He told me that he's going to talk to the IVP over the weekend, and we're going to get everything squared away. He's like, in the meantime, though, Monday rolls around, when you're done work or whatever it is, go put that grievance in. I said, yes, sir, no problem. He's like, although he's supposed to do it, I'm good with it. You do what you got to do. I said, all right, cool. No problem. So I had everything written out. I had the grievance form. You know what I mean? Like, I was all, like, squared away. Like, yeah, fuck this. I was going to, go turn it in. And that Monday rolls around. And he says I threatened him and called him a pussy and a faggot. So I reached right back out because they asked me to do a special. He wrote it up. And I wasn't anticipating, like anybody even believing any of that bullshit, you know what I mean? Because that's exactly what it was. It was bullshit. I had 3 witnesses that they all stated that I never said that. And it was told to SID. And SID either got rid of the evidence or never turned it in, or or it's there and they didn't read it. But when you're a target of an investigation, it doesn't matter what other people say. They still twist words and everything else. Just like the judge at Office of Administrative Law twisted words so it would fit the criteria that he was going for. And I'll explain when and where that he twisted words in the report that was given. Sorry, guys. And that's about it. During that time, yeah. So, so after that, obviously I got charged. And I told you when I got interviewed, I got charged shortly after that. I don't have the charges in front of me. I'm going to get the charges because we're going to go over them also. But yeah, so that's exactly how it went down. And then I had another run-in with his friend. And that's about it for the first individual. Mind you, the first individual also put a noose up for sale on Marketplace. Just poor taste. And I've said it since day one about that officer, and nobody's believed me. But listen, let me be totally honest, and let's be frank, guys. I'm going to call it like I say it, right? When do white officers or Caucasian people put nooses up for sale on any forum? That's not something you play with. A lot of people died with that, It's not something you play with at all. And, whether he's retired or whatever, he's still posted up for sale. And DOC will not, they're still taking his word as for what it is. I just don't see how his credibility is even accepted anymore. I don't know, it's crazy. And I've asked DOC to look through this stuff on numerous times, and they still haven't. They still haven't contacted me in reference to bringing my attorney in along with myself and going over all the evidence we have, and let them make a valid decision, whether if we're going through the courts or not. Listen, something's got to give eventually, right, guys? Somebody's got to be listening somewheres, and I'm going to continue to tag people, and I'm going to continue to speak, and somebody somewhere is going to hear it, and they're going to be like, yo, why is this guy doing it? This guy's lost everything. His family, his wife, the love of his life, his kids. It just sucks. But, you know, I did that with my wife and my kids. So I take full responsibility for that. But, you know, a lot of this stuff happened because of, you know, what happened at work too, right? But it's crazy. But sometimes somewhere karma's gonna bite these guys. And I don't wish anything bad on them. I've fully forgiven them. You have to move on. You never forget, right, guys? You know, how can you? You know? But that's it. We're going to do another video this upcoming week. One more this week, Saturday, Sunday, whatever it may be. I am having problems downloading things sometimes, guys, so you got to just be patient. I know sometimes it's late. But I'm doing the best I can with this, guys. Still new to all this stuff. Doing the best I can. And that's about it. So we are going to get into the next guy. And the proof's in the pudding, guys. I asked you if you've seen anything in the last letter, I guess, letterhead of the last video. You know, look around. Let me know what you see in there. And if anybody's observant and can tell, you know who's next. This is pretty much long anticipated. We're going to get into everything. And I'm not doing this to hurt anybody's feelings or to, you know, pick on them as people would say. But listen, something's got to give, guys. Something's got to give somewheres. And everybody in there knows, yeah, I may have been an asshole, but they all say Tracy didn't deserve that. Tracy didn't deserve to get lied on. Right? But hey, listen, it is what it is. And they're still living with themselves and they're accepting it. You know, all they have to do is say, hey, you know what? I don't recall. Or, you know what? I plead the fifth. I have nothing to say. But no, they went up and they told their story, right? See, now that opens them up to a lot of things after I prove what I'm going to prove. So, you guys are out there retired, still working. You better start kicking that overtime if you're working. If you guys sitting at home, I hope you have another gig. Like I said, next guy's up. And that's it. Enjoy your night. Chad Tracy was terminated after 18 and a half years by 2 officers that lied on me. Said I called him a pussy and a faggot and threatened to beat him up. And that's it, guys. I'm going to continue to push on. And I'm not going to stop. Somebody's going to hear me. And that's it, guys. Enjoy your night. I hope you guys enjoyed your Easter. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see my kids on a holiday. But I did speak to them. And listen, you know, enjoy your night. I'm not going to get too much more. Enjoy your night, guys, and I'll see you soon. And be safe, be good in there. Everybody that's watching, if you're in DOC still, be safe. A lot of stuff's happening, I know. Just be safe. I'll see you guys Saturday or Sunday. We're going to be doing Q&As, I believe, every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Perhaps, or 10, depending. And I'll let you guys know. And we're going to try to do a Q&A once a week. And that's it, guys. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.